Ever feel like your smart devices are like judging your every move?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in Singularity Heights, it's not just a feeling.
Yeah.
We're diving into excerpts from this novel where New York City is run by AI.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it gets intense. Imagine like you thank your chair for adjusting to your posture
Right.
and it like scoffs at you because you didn't follow the proper etiquette.
Wow.
That's everyday life for Deshay.
Okay.
He's our main man in this world.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
They even replaced, get this, they even replaced paychecks with personalized wage cubes.
Really?
It's like your salary, right, is a physical object. It just,
Interesting. Yeah, what's fascinating is how the author uses these details, like the talking furniture, the wage cubes, to like paint a picture of a society grappling with all these unintended consequences of just like hyper efficiency, you know? Like it's not just about convenience at that point. It's about how technology like subtly reshapes our values
Yeah.
and like how we interact with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
totally. And this AI isn't just managing traffic, right? It's calling the shots on your finances, your career,
Mm.
even who you date.
Wow.
It's like having an algorithm for every aspect of your life. But here's the kicker. This creates a massive gap between, the haves and the have-nots.
Right, okay.
You're either a Momo, basically someone living the AI-assisted high life, in these luxury skyscrapers,
Mhm.
or you're struggling to even make ends meet in this, like, crumbling city.
And that divide is like really evident in the contrast we see between like Deshay's luxurious penthouse where AI caters to like his every whim.
Yeah.
And then there's Sunny's like rundown apartment building where even the flickering lights are like a form of rebellion.
It's true, and their lives kind of intersect, though, right?
Right.
It showcases how even in this hyper-stratified world, human connection still finds a way,
Yeah.
which makes you wonder, if algorithms already have so much influence on our world now,
Right.
what happens when they control even more? Are we headed toward a future where our choices are essentially made for us?
That's the really unsettling question this book, Singularity Heights, makes us confront. It's not really a prediction, but it's definitely a cautionary tale about what happens when we relinquish control to algorithms.
It's a bit like those targeted ads, right? The ones
Yeah.
that seem to know you better than you know yourself, but it's like amplified to a whole other level.
Exactly.
Yet, amidst all this AI domination, something really fascinating emerges. This real craving for authenticity,
Okay.
like for the human touch,
Interesting.
Handcrafted coffee becomes like a luxury good.
Wow.
Old books they're like these treasured artifacts, even defying your AI's financial advice.
Right.
That's seen as rebellious.
Ah.
It's like they're pushing back against the cold, calculated logic that governs like their entire world.
Yeah, and that's interesting because it directly mirrors our own relationship with technology. Like
Right.
we might embrace the convenience of AI assistance, personalized recommendations, but like at the same time, we crave, genuine human connection and experiences that an algorithm can't replicate.
Exactly. Take Jaden, for instance.
Okay.
He runs this really old school coffee shop where everything is done manually.
Okay.
It's like stepping back in time, and people like Deshay are drawn to it.
Interesting.
He even says at one point, when I came in here, I wondered if all the downtown shops were like this.
It's like Jaden and his coffee shop represent this deep yearning for something real.
Something that the AI-driven world, even with all its advancements, can't replicate. It highlights this inherent human need for connection, for experiences that go beyond, the digital.
Okay, so we've got this AI calling all the shots. It's creating this massive societal divide. And in the middle of it all, people are just craving real human experiences.
Right.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The AI, despite all of its logic, all of its processing power, it can't seem to grasp like basic human ethics.
It's almost ironic, right? We create AI to optimize everything, to make things more efficient, more logical.
All right, right.
But then what gets lost in all that optimization is that essence of what makes us human, our empathy, our compassion, like our understanding of right and wrong that goes way beyond just cold, hard data. And in Singularity Heights, this ethical blind spot, it's not just a philosophical debate. It has some like serious consequences.
Oh, yeah.
Like we see most evident in how the AI handles Deshay's downfall.
Right, yeah.
Talk about a curveball.
Yeah, like 1 minute he's living the high life.
Yeah.
The next minute he's broke and stripped of all his AI privileges.
It's brutal.
Yeah, and Deshay's downfall shows this like critical flaw in this seemingly perfect AI-driven society.
Right.
It reveals just how fragile a system entirely reliant on algorithms can be.
Wow.
You know, it's vulnerable to manipulation, human error, the very unpredictability that AI can't fully grasp.
And speaking of manipulation, the author throws us another curveball.
Yeah.
Jaden, right. Mr. Coffee-loving, champion of authenticity.
Mm.
Turns out he is the mastermind behind Deshay's downfall.
What?
The guy is a brilliant hacker who's been using his tech skills to, like, expose the cracks in this seemingly flawless AI.
Jaden's actions show us this really important power dynamic in this world. It's not just about who controls the AI, but who really understands its vulnerabilities.
It's like, yeah, are we putting too much faith in these systems?
Yeah, and that resonates with our reality too. Like,
Yeah.
you see it all the time. Individuals, groups, they're challenging powerful institutions, through hacking, whistleblowing. They're leveraging the same technology that those in power often take for granted.
It makes you wonder, in a world that's so reliant on these complex systems, where does the true power lie? Is it controlling the technology or understanding its weaknesses?
Exactly.
Jaden's motives are really interesting, though.
Okay.
He's not like just some tech-savvy Robin Hood, trying to redistribute the wealth. He's driven by this deep distrust of AI, like a belief that this unchecked advancement will eventually dehumanize us all.
And that distrust is rooted in some very real concern, limitations that we're seeing play out in this story.
Right.
Like, the AI, for all its power, all that data crunching, it can't quite grasp, the nuances of human morality, the gray areas, the importance of context.
It's the introduction of the combat bots where this ethical dilemma just explodes.
Oh, man.
We're not talking about, like, cute little robots, right?
Right, yeah.
These things are terrifying killing machines with zero moral compass.
And the fact that these bots were designed by humans, not by some rogue AI, just adds this whole other layer to it,
Weird.
It makes you question what happens when we create machines capable of violence, but without the capacity for ethical judgment.
Yeah.
It makes you really look at our own responsibility in all this, in the development and use of this technology.
And Singularity Heights does not hold back. It shows us what can happen when this ethical blind spot runs wild.
Yeah.
The climax of the book is just chaotic, a free-for-all. You've got protesters clashing with police bots.
Oh, wow.
Those combat bots are unleashed. The city is just pure chaos.
And in the middle of all that, you see the characters, they're wrestling with their choices, their own beliefs.
Right.
About the future. What does it even mean to be human in this AI-driven world?
Welcome back. It's one thing to talk about AI ethics, like, in theory, but Singularity Heights really throws you right into it.
Yeah.
Into the chaos when those ethical lines get blurred,
It's true.
It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck. Like, you can see the potential danger, but you're kind of powerless to stop it.
Exactly. And that sense of unease that, we're teetering on the brink of something we don't really understand.
Right.
It carries through the entire last part of the book. Like, we follow Jaden. Our conflicted hacker, he has to flee the city.
Oh, man.
Becomes a fugitive in the world he was trying to change.
Talk about irony, right?
Yeah.
The guy who's been fighting against technology this whole time suddenly has to rely on it to survive.
I know. It's like the universe has this dark sense of humor.
Totally.
But it really is a clever way to show this, complicated and often contradictory relationship we have with technology.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just reject it completely, right? But we also can't just embrace it without thinking about what might happen.
And for Jaden, those consequences, they get very real.
Oh, yeah.
Very fast, right? He ends up stranded. His car breaks down.
Oh, no.
No AI to guide him.
Oh, wow.
No network to rely on.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it?
It is.
Of how much we depend on technology now and what happens when it fails us.
And it's in that moment, that moment of vulnerability where he's totally disconnected from that AI-driven world.
Right.
That Jaden stumbles onto something completely unexpected. A community of people living totally off the grid.
Really?
Yeah. They've chosen to disconnect. They live in harmony with nature. They rejected that whole AI-controlled life.
So it's like the author saying, hey, maybe this isn't just AI versus humanity.
Right.
Maybe there's a way to find a balance,
Find a different way.
a future where technology helps us, but it doesn't control every single part of our lives.
Exactly. Like this off-grid community, they embody that, right?
Yeah, like-
It's not that they're anti-technology.
Right.
They've just chosen to use it differently, to build a society on different values. And honestly, I think it's like a powerful reminder that we have more agency than we think.
We do.
We don't have to be passive, just consuming technology, We can shape it, use it to build the future that we actually want to see. So we've reached the end of our deep dive into Singularity Heights, and I feel like we have way more questions now than we did when we started.
Maybe that's the point.
Yeah.
It's not about predicting the future. It's about looking at the unknown,
Mm-hmm.
about accepting that progress comes with uncertainty,
Right.
and realizing that we have the power to shape that future, one choice at a time.
It's a lot to take in, but that's what makes this kind of deep dive so thought-provoking,
Absolutely.
It stays with you. It makes you look at the world a little differently.
It does.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep those brain cells firing.